Welcome to the user guide of Digital Dust. So in this video, we are going to see how to use this device. So I will first analyze the first section of the user interface, which is here at the top left corner. So the first button you need to use to enable the module is the rendering button in here. Secondly, if you want to share your composition with your audience in a second monitor or a projector, you just need to drag and drop that to your second monitor or projector, and then press the full scale button, which is this double arrow button in here. If you want to leave this full screen mode, just press the escape button, and then you come back to this view. And when you do that, the rendering process is stopped, so you need to enable it again. Then you can activate or deactivate the border of the window, this little border in here that says dust. You can disable that, and then you have the screen without the title. So I decided to develop that in case you want to give it unconventional dimensions, and then once you're there, you can disable this frame, this border, and then there it is. So later the question mark will take you to the Synesthetic Devices website. Then you have the Syphon button in case you want to send your visuals to another application via Syphon and then do something else to the visuals in the other application. Let's do this with Avenue as an example. So press the Syphon button. The screen will disappear in here. Now you're sending visuals, and in this case in Resolume Avenue or in other application, it can be MapMapper, whichever application receiving Syphon, you will go to your sources, and in this case here it is, its name is Live Dust, and then you will see the visuals there. So make sure that in your host application you will put here the correct resolution, so you can visualize it as it is. Okay, let's come back in here. But first I will just get rid of that in order to save resources. And when I deactivate the Syphon, then I can see again my window. Then you have this drop-up menu where you can choose your resolution. This is the resolution of this window. So make sure that this resolution is the same of the second monitor or your projector where you are going to actually show the visuals to your audience. It has to be the same. Other way, it's gonna look pixelated if this is lower, or if this is bigger, your image will look incomplete. Then you have here this monitor. This is your FPS or frames per second monitor. It's at how many frames per second you are actually running this animation. So it has to be greater than 24 FPS in order to look fluent. Other way, it's gonna be shaky. So this number will really depend on your GPU capabilities. If you are using, also it's a mix of the memory, the RAM of your computer. So if this is very low, it means that maybe your resolution is too big to handle for your GPU. So you can decrease your resolution if your GPU is not powerful enough. Then we have, let's move on for the next section, which is this grid here having numbers. These numbers are actually templates or presets. There are starting points for your composition. So I will just make here a little demonstration of all of them. So they are also, you can use it, use all this, of course, as they are in your show, because they are ready to go. But you can also load them and then just move the other controls and just leave it as you want. And how can you recall your composition later? That we'll see later when we will see how to interact this digital dust Max for Live device with Vibrations Max for Live device, which is a free device that comes with Max for Live and the Max 12. So let me quickly show you the rest of the presets. And there you go. Then now let's move on and explain this section of the user interface. Here you have parameters related with the morphology of the shape. So you have density, so that refers to how many points and lines you have in the composition. So of course the greater is more you will have. There's this other parameter, agitation. It talks about how much the shape is moving. So you put more agitation, so you will see that it's moving faster. Yeah. So these animations doesn't have to do with audio reactivity yet. They're just like that. And there's this other parameter called morpho. So this is when you will change that, then you will change the morphology of the shape. Yeah. Making it more complex or more chaotic when this value is higher. Then you have here a collection of formulas, some functions actually, and then you can choose totally also the morphology with those formulas, those functions. Yeah. So let's say that morpho is this morphology is like a variation of this. You are making more complex actually. This for example are fractals. Done less complex. It looks like that. It's the same function, but I am adding more complexity by varying this morphology parameter in here. Okay, so let's say that this function is actually changing the shape dramatically, like it's another complete, let's say, a math function, yeah? And then you can vary that by the morphology, the agitation, and the density. Okay, let's move on. And let's see, what is this? This is one of my favorites. This another region. This is about how it looks actually. So I can freeze this structure because actually this is 3D. And when you freeze it, then you can see this structure by many points of view in a 3D visualization. Then this turn speed, it's actually making it turn at different speeds. And you will see later when you make it react, these buttons you can here, for example, change the direction. Yeah. Okay, and then let's unfreeze. Actually, when this is when you freeze that, then you will freeze all these parameters in here actually. So when it's frozen, then you will see that those are not reacting anymore actually, because it's they're frozen. Well, some of them will, but not all of them. Then you have here this palette. This is a palette of colors, and when you press it, then you start visualizing colors. So talking about that, let's move to the next region here, which are the colors. So you have red, green, and blue. So careful, these are not actually complete red or complete green or blue. You're just adding a little bit of red, a little bit of green. And because these functions, they have, each one has characteristic color, right? So make sure that, well, just understand that you're not making it totally blue, right? You're just adding, changing the levels of that according to the basic colors given already by this function. You're varying just that. And right when you enable this palette, the composition will be black and white again. Then let's see about the scale. So of course this is just making it smaller or bigger. And let's talk about point size. You can change the size of your point. And you can, let me change the formula in here, for example, making it a little bit less chaotic. All right, there we go. So line width. So the line width will stop in there because for the aesthetics of this module, I don't want a really strong lines, so they're really thin. See, so somehow I prefer to, when I was programming that, to give them a look like hair, or I don't know, maybe something organic. Yeah, so you can, this is the higher number you can go. Okay, then you have different draw modes. So these are like variations of that. So because you can draw only in points. See, if I increase the density, I will see, and then increase the point size. So drawing in points or just only lines, and then you have other combinations as point lines, lines points. There are slight variations about that, or line adjacency. And then when you're drawing in points here, then you can use this parameter, which is the point mode. Then it can be, your points can be squared. So if you so for square depth, let's see here, all the points are the same size. Then square depth, the points that are closer to your point of view will look bigger. But when you are in just a square, all the points are the same size. That's it. And same for circle, all the points are the same size, but now they're looking like circles. But when you go and choose circle depth, then you can see the points which are close to your point of view. Let me decrease the density so I have less points. So you can see the points that are closer to you are bigger, and then the others are smaller. So now let's talk about this, my favorite part of the module, which is audio reactivity. So in this region, you can control the reactivity of the module. So let's turn the volume a little bit on. So if you wanted to behave, react to audio, then you activate this microphone. Now it's really fast. This is actually the threshold. So if you put it all the way down, then you will have a lot of reactivity. And if you put it all the way up, then you will have less reactivity. So you're actually grabbing the transients, amplitude peaks. So every time you grab a peak, you will see this button being activated. So I put this button here like a kind of a wind, like a tornado, because when you press it, the thing, it's like if you're blowing wind and then you make it react. Okay, so remember, more reactivity. So you put the threshold down. So something cool about this reactivity is that you can also make it tempo reactive. So if I disable the audio reactivity, let's put something that has a fixed tempo, for example this sound in here. So here, when the hard bottom is enabled, then the reactions of this button will occur on every, for example, whole note. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2. So there's a lot of things that are happening actually when you press this button, when this button is activated. And the result is that you can see the shape turning on every bit, and also being the morphology is also changing on every bit. So this is for half note, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Every quarter note, so for every bit. You can go for 8 notes and even 16th note. So you can, for example, set it here in half notes, and then you can turn the speed all the way up, this turn speed, and then the effect will be more dramatic. And it can also work when you freeze the structure. So you can freeze it and then give it this all the way up. And 16 notes. Yeah, and when both buttons are deactivated, the reactivity buttons, for example the audio and the tempo reactions, then you can also improvise and make that interactive, right? You can press this button. You can, of course, map these controls to MIDI. So when, let me just stop this because it's distracting me a little bit. So, and when you press the MIDI button in here, the MIDI mapping, so you see that you can map what you need here in order to improvise and with your MIDI controller. Now this, the presets here, they are not mappable, and there's a good reason for that. Because if you want to remember the state of your parameters, it is a better idea to use this tool. This is the Variations Maxfly device, which comes with Live 12. You need to download it from the official Max for Live page, or also here from here you can also download it. And so what it is doing, I will dedicate a special tutorial to see how it works. But you can also see the tutorials of this amazing Max for Live device in the Ableton webpage. So basically here what I am doing is that I am linking my scenes to different parameters. So see, for example, when I trigger the scene 1, so which sounds like this, so all the values of these parameters are changing. And now let's do it for scene 2. This I already have recorded those variations in here. This is just a demonstration about how really you can build something which is really easy to use when you are performing, because you can map your scenes to your MIDI controller and then launch different visual compositions which are already attached to your scene, linked to your scene, and then on the top you can also improvise with moving the different controls. So I hope that this tutorial was useful for you. And okay, don't hesitate if you have comments or questions to drop them on the comments. And if you already have purchased this MacOS device and you have questions, you can write directly to the email of Synesthetic Devices, and I will give you tech support from there. Okay, thank you for watching, and have fun and keep creative. And I hope to see your creations with this tool. Let's stay creative and see you in the next one. Thank you.